Day 20 of making a video every day. Hello, good evening, welcome, happy Monday. I hope you don't have a case of the Mondays. That would be unfortunate.
I gotta get out of here. I think I'm gonna lose it.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
But yeah, 20 days of making videos. And I was reflecting on this a little bit earlier today about the silliness of the challenge itself, and also the silliness that I feel more comfortable slowly in putting out on these videos as well. A natural evolution of the comfortability of being on camera, I think, is inevitable, and was one of the main hopes that I thought would come out of this challenge. One of the main aims I had when starting this 20 days ago and still continuing onwards was to help reconcile or confront or get over, however you want to phrase it, my ingrained fear of being a beginner, being a rookie, being a novice at something, and that being very publicly visible. Like getting comfortable with the humility that comes from being not good at something that you're trying to get better at, and accepting where you are on that development process, being more secure in that place, as opposed to either not doing something at all because you refuse to confront the reality that you are not good at that thing, or being impatient with the process required to go from a place of being terrible at something to being okay at something. But I was reflecting on it a little bit before. I think I've made 60 odd or something YouTube videos on this channel now, spread out over 9-10 years, something like that. I remember very clearly what it was like when I was trying to upload videos on YouTube over those last 9 or so years. I used to be terrified of putting something out there, not least because of the immediate response that it would get, or potentially bad response that it would get from people. But so much of it was this fear of being a beginner at something, not being good straight away, and the potential judgment that that would form, but more so the internal feeling of not being comfortable and confident and proud of something that you put out. I think it was especially trickier to make videos for myself a number of years ago, because being someone who was in like their 20s, I think that time of your life is where you're perhaps more vulnerable and sensitive and exposed, so to speak, to the opinions of others. Like it carries more weight, and you're more likely to be deciding your actions based on what's going to get the approval of others, or what's going to at least avoid the disapproval of others. And I very viscerally remember several times trying to make videos over the last number of years when I was in my 20s. And even everything from like the ideation phase to the filming phase to the posting phase, everything along the way came with consistent taking the piss response from everyone that I knew. It's always like, oh yeah, filming, are you? Oh yeah, like putting on YouTube, are you? Oh yeah, like and subscribe, smash that like button. So there's the immediate pushback, but there's also the impatience that we have from wanting to stick through anything in order to get through the beginning stages of not being good, to get to a place where we're not terrible anymore. And so what's the reconciliation here? Like on the one hand, we know as humans that we always want to be getting better at things. We want to be trying new things. We know that if we're not growing, then we're stagnant. And if we're stagnant, then we're kind of going backwards and feel bad about ourselves. But on the other hand, we don't necessarily have the amounts of patience and diligence and focus to get better at things, to lean into the process and trust the process in order to get better. How can we reconcile these two things? Clearly, this is a question that I still ask myself, and one that I'm wrestling with pretty much every day, including in making these videos, because there's at least one part of me at one point of the day that says, oh, I've got to make another video. Oh, I don't really feel like it. Oh, this one's not going to be very good. Oh, I can't think of something. What if it does really badly? What if it's worse than the last one? Like, I wrestle with those questions and fears and doubts and insecurities every single day. That's not even before I think about the responses potentially of other people as well. But if there's one lesson that I am learning so far through these 20 days, through the 20 videos made so far on this challenge, the solution is one word: action. All of our self-doubt, insecurity, overthinking exists in a purely theoretical world. It has no currency in the real world. All of the things that stop us from starting the thing that we want to be doing, but we don't do because we're worried about not being good at it, it's all thoughts that are going on in our head. The best and only way, as far as I can tell, to buttress us, like protect us against all of those internal battles that we have to face, let alone all of the external battles of dealing with the reception of our ideas and actions from other people, is we have to create an internal feedback loop for ourselves. We have to create an internal game for ourselves. We have to set goalposts for our own actions that are proportionate to the capabilities that we have today, and that can be fair on ourselves with that feedback. Setting up a game where we establish the rules of the game to ourselves, and a game that we can actually win. If we're not setting up the rules of the game in a game that we can actually win, we are constantly setting ourselves up for failure because it's like, oh, I did something on day one and it wasn't amazing straight away, therefore it was a complete failure. Clearly, that's a game that we can never win. The kind of game I'm talking about is, one, starting with a very authentic, personalized goal, as in something that we truly want to do. For me, 20 days ago, it was, I'm going to try and make a video for myself every single day for the next defined period of time, because I think that that is something that will lead towards my interest in making more videos. In the process of making a video every day, maybe I'll get somewhat better at making videos. And also, most importantly, perhaps the messaging from these things will help some random person out there on the internet. So they all seem like things that are important to me, would make me happy, would make me fulfilled, and hopefully would give some value to other people. Great. There's a personalized goal. Second is that we then have to be able to take small steps towards that, like playing by the rules of the game that we set for ourselves, such that if we do the small things that we said that we were capable of doing, and we do them successfully, then we've won the game in that immediate day. The way that I've done that is set the challenge for this to be making one thing every single day. The game isn't make an amazing video every single day. The game is not, if today's video is not objectively better than yesterday's video, then it's a fail. The game is not, if 1 million people don't watch this video, then it's a fail. No, the game is make a video every single day. The third and final step is closing the loop. The undeniable truth of action is that it clears the way. It drives out all of the excess room in our heads that we fill with self-doubt and insecurity and overthinking. It just blasts that away. Like, if you did the thing, there's nothing else left to say. There may be a voice in you saying, I don't know if I can do it again, but as far as the rules that you have set out in the game for today, you have done the thing. The internal feedback loop is successfully closed. The beauty of this process is that the continued strengthening of that feedback loop via repetition creates an insulated self-confidence that trumps any of the external noise out there, which means that even though the external environment never changes, as in there will always be people who have something to say, there will always be the unknowns of something happening tomorrow that could derail our progress, regardless of what's happening in the external world, the more that we strengthen the internal feedback loop, the more impervious we are to being impacted by that outside world. And so this is a lesson that I'm continuing to learn in these 20 days so far. It is something that I would want to say clearly to me 20 days ago. And it is certainly something that I would want to say to me 10, 20, however many years ago. And anyone listening to this, the insecurities and self-doubt that we all inevitably, as part of the human condition, feel are very natural, but they aren't a life sentence. And our responsibility and the opportunity that we have is to not wish for the outside world to be kinder to us, not wish for us to be instantly trying to find quick fixes to be really good at the things that we want to try. The opportunity for us is to set ourselves a game that we are capable of winning and to show up every single day to simply try and win that game. I think that if more people were confident and could see that the process of building self-trust within ourselves isn't a magical thing, isn't something that is more accessible to some people than others, it is simply a matter of setting up a game for ourselves that we are capable and able to win, and then simply quietening the noise and showing up every single day into the internal feedback loop. The sense of self-trust is strengthened until we look outside all of a sudden in the outside world and it doesn't seem so threatening. We're not worried so much about what might happen because we're confident on the inside on what will happen. It's impossible to be able to see this as long as we're sitting on the sidelines, so long as the things that we want to do are only theoretical concepts and hopes and dreams in our head. The only way that we can realize this is to show up for ourselves every single day and then enjoy and reap the benefits that come our way. Not in a grand external validation sense, not in a massive eureka moment of I was bad and now I'm great. It's in the small, quiet wins, the small stacked progress that is minuscule and not really observable probably to anyone else in the outside world. But as long as we are practicing this, after not that long at all, we start to realize and learn that it was never really about the external validation of anyone else. It was only ever about proving to ourselves that we're capable of showing up for ourselves. After that, the rest is kind of meaningless. Day 20 of making a video every day. I'm gonna go make some dinner now and go to bed. It's Monday. That's as crazy as it gets on a Monday for me. I don't know about you. Maybe you party on a Monday. Good for you. You keep that party going. I'll see you tomorrow, mate. Bye-bye.